I feel like talking about this because it will be easier for me to process it. I was just like analyzing the situation that just happened, and I was just like going deeper and deeper into my mind. And I don't know, this might give me a conclusion or something. I'll figure some stuff out anyway. I was in like a really small town liquor store on the way to Calgary, and I was in there alone, and there was, I feel the need to mention race just because it is somewhat relevant. So there was a brown man of like some type of Middle Eastern descent, it seemed, who was like working. He was the only other person in the store, and yeah, I was just like looking around for some liquor to buy for this evening, and I called my mom real quick. I was on the phone with her for like 2 minutes. I was just like browsing. I was eventually looking for something that I couldn't find, so I approached him and asked him like, oh hey, do you have this thing? And before I was 100% finished my sentence, he was like, nope, and that was it. He was pretty like neutral about it. Like he wasn't like very shopkeepy, like the way that like merchant style, where you'd want to be, you know, friendly, I guess. It wasn't a big deal, but then like he wasn't behind the counter or anything anymore. Like I said, he never approached me to ask like if I needed help or anything. And then it started getting weird because I was like waiting, and I was just like looking at my phone, and I was just kind of like deciding what should I do, what should I get anything or not or whatever. And it got really uncomfortable because he just started staring at me. But he was like staring at the back of me, but I could tell that he was like over my shoulder, because he stopped pretending to like he was like rearranging bottles or just putting stock away, and then he just stopped. He was just like straight up staring at me, and I don't know why. Like I was in the most open part of the store at that point too, so it wasn't like he was trying to keep an eye on me from a distance about like if I was stealing or something. And then, I don't know, just so many thoughts ran through my head, and more so after the fact that I was like, well, the reason I mentioned the race thing is because I'm like, well, I don't think this is like a weird racial thing where it's like, oh, this brown guy might come in here and steal. So I don't think it was race-based. Might be because I'm wearing eyeliner and nail polish today, if he even noticed, so it might be that. It might be that he thought I was stealing no matter what for some reason. I don't know. Like, I didn't think I was being really sketchy. I was looking for stuff. I don't have a bag with me. I don't have a hoodie with me. Anyway, the thing is, I don't really know why. And yeah, I was waiting for my girlfriend to come in. So I was just like, at a certain point, I was like, I wanted to leave. I was really uncomfortable. I wanted to leave, and I decided I'm not going to buy anything there anyway. But then I felt really weird giving him any sort of validation at all that like maybe he made me uncomfortable enough to leave, because I don't even know why he was choosing to make me uncomfortable in the first place. Like I don't know how he could assume he wasn't making me uncomfortable. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait. Originally I was gonna wait till she came in so that we could maybe choose a different type of liquor because they didn't have the type that I was looking for. And then I was just like, no, like as soon as you come in, we're gonna leave. I just like texted her that because she was at the gas station next door. And I don't know, I started thinking about it more after that. And like in that moment, she wanted to say something. It came across my mind that I could say something, but I didn't really know what to say other than like, can I help you? Like that's what I wanted to say, which is just like a backwards thing because he should have asked me that earlier in a whole different context. Like, can I help you with something, sir? Yeah, so I don't know. It was really awkward, super awkward. I haven't really had a scenario like that happen. Not that blatantly obvious. Like there's been other times which this is wrong for me to even think, and I know that, but there's been other times where I've been like, oh, there's like some old white dude and I'm like wearing a hoodie and kind of look more, I don't want to say sketchy, but I mean I look whatever. Like there was more opportunity with the clothing I was wearing and stuff to be perceived in a different way than I am today. And so I don't, like I said, it's not good of me to say that it seemed more acceptable, but I've never had someone just stop 2 meters away from me and just stare at me and make it obvious. Wasn't even pretending to work anymore. So anyway, this is longer than I thought it was going to be already, but I just had all these thoughts. Like I said, my girlfriend wanted to say something. She's like, can I say something? And I was like, no, let's just go. Like, we're good now. Like, they don't have to stuff. And she kind of lingered for a minute. And I was just like, like, before she got there, I was like, what's going to happen? What good is it going to be for me to say anything? What can I say other than, like, can I help you? Like, do you have a problem? Would have been a better thing to say. It didn't even cross my mind. Conversation like that makes me very anxious and nervous because it's unpredictable. I don't know where it's going to go. And I think that's the main reason I don't actually do anything when I should. But that's the thing, is I felt like I should have. I would, like, my plan to not do anything was, like, to me, plan B, like the second best plan. And the better plan would have been to say something, and then if it got to a certain place that would have been really bad, I could calmly leave. But I didn't. I felt just like, I had more thoughts about it after the fact than I did during, because I was like, after the fact, I was just like, well, if it got to like a crazy weird place, then I don't know, like I just don't know, I don't know. I'm so adverse to confrontation because of the unpredictability aspect, and I feel like sometimes for me it's a 0 or 100, and I don't mean 100 as in like I'm just gonna get nuts out of nowhere. I just mean if he pushes back and then I push back more and then he pushes back, like what, I just don't know how that situation would have played out. I don't think it would have gone into a physical thing. That's not what I was really afraid of, but it was like, if he kicked me out, I would have been like, oh, fuck you, like, what do you, like, I just don't know. And then afterwards, when we were talking about the confrontation in the vehicle, and then she was like, you should just let me say something, next time I'm just gonna say something, and I was like, I don't know, like, how I feel about that, if I, like, how, whatever. It would have been easy, if it was happening to someone else, even if I didn't know that person, I felt like I would have said something, like, and especially if I knew them and I cared about that person, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I think I would have made it really obvious that I wasn't cool, and I would have, like, this is not a way to do business, like, you're the reason I'm not buying anything here. Like, you're completely the reason. Like, him knowing that would have been constructive, I think. That's the thing, no matter what I wanted to do, I wanted it to be constructive, and it could have been, I just didn't know how to do it. I haven't been in a situation like that, and now I'm kicking myself for not saying anything, and that's a whole other thing, but it's really annoying and frustrating. But there was a part of me too that I realized, again, is not good. That's what I really started analyzing, and why I wanted to talk about it, was that I didn't think it was a race-based thing, so then I started thinking about the way I express myself today. So like, I haven't worn eyeliner for real, other than last night was the first time in months and months and months and months. I can't even think of the last time. It might have been half a year or longer since I've worn eyeliner. And I was like wearing eyeliner, I have red nails on, and there's another reason I don't wear red nails very often, and I think it's just because, well, part of it is versatility with my wardrobe, and part of it is because, no, it can't be the feminine thing. I've worn like hot pink or like soft pink. Anyway, sometimes that gets in my mind. I think about it being way more feminine than wearing darker colors, like black or dark greens and blues and purples and stuff. So that was a part that entered my mind too, because as soon as my girlfriend came in, like, I kissed her, and then I was thinking about that after. It was like, well, that I feel the need to overcompensate for the fact that he might have thought that I was gay or something like that, because the fact that I would feel the need to do that, I don't like, because it shouldn't matter what his perception of me is. The only thing I don't like is when anyone perceives something of me that's just not true, because it's not like there's anything wrong with being gay, or if someone perceived me that way. The only thing I don't like about it is that they're perceiving something about me that just isn't the truth, even though that the thing they're perceiving isn't inherently negative or bad. And that's kind of where I ended up. And I'm annoyed with that whole experience because there wasn't really a resolution. So like I said, my not saying anything was good, but it wasn't the best possible thing. And it makes me feel shitty to myself that I didn't confront him, because it's just, if he had said something directly to me, I wouldn't have backed down. I would have engaged in that conversation, whatever that looked like. But he didn't directly engage me. He was very passively making it, what is this, really passive aggressive, without actually any direct anything. I don't know, it just sucks. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't happen very often, but part of me wants it to happen again, just so I can start to correct that within myself and handle the situation more appropriately, where I'm happy with myself in the end. I thought about this before, and I feel like we need to add it, because I know exactly why I didn't add it, because it was on my mind. There's obviously, I should have said something about myself, and I know that, and I 100% know that, and I regret not doing it, but I definitely didn't want my girlfriend to say anything, because unfortunately, there's an association with that that's really demasculating. I don't like that, but that's the truth. So, like I said, I would have easily stepped in. Like I said, there's been times where strangers have been hassled and I've said things. If it was anyone else, I feel like I would have said something. Because it was me, I didn't. And that just plays to my shitty self-esteem. That's been there for a really long time. That I feel like, for some reason, that was a scenario that was completely appropriate for me to say something and stand up for myself. But because it wasn't direct enough, I didn't feel like I absolutely had to, so I ignored it. But that's the thing, I was reflecting on too, like the fact that like, some of these are like 100% reasons, and some of the things are just like speculation, and maybe I'll never know exactly why I react the way I do. But some of it's not like a conscious decision in that moment. I didn't when she asked, can I say something? And I said, no, it wasn't because, oh no, if you say something, that'll make me look like less a man. No, it was just the fact that if you say something, that means something's going to happen. And I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know where it's going to go, and I got really anxious. That was the immediate response. But I'm sure that there was more behind it, and reflecting on that, that's totally a thing that I would have been like, I shouldn't have felt any judgment whatsoever, but I felt like, oh, well, then he's just going to have that to think about too, being like how I didn't say anything, but she did. And I don't like that, because I should have said something if no one was around, no matter what. I should have said something no matter what. Anyway, that was my little addition to that, because it's the truth, I guess. The power of music and the power of speed. Whew! Oh, man. So I was at a middle school that I'd never been to before. I was booked in for Monday and Tuesday full days, and I'm never going back. Just never. Today, at the end of the second day, I realized I would rather be doing shipping and receiving at Maple Leaf -20 in the freezer for 9 hours than do what I was doing today. I couldn't. I can't. Halfway through the day yesterday, I knew that this was not going to be good. I knew halfway through the first day that this was a problem. That I could not exist in this environment. Like, I got a horrible headache halfway through the day, popped some Advil, an hour later, headache again. I just can't. Like, it's just too much. It is the loudest school I have ever been to, the whole school. The culture of the school, I don't know how it got this way. I've been to other middle schools before. Some of them have been not great, but not this bad. Some of them have been just well-behaved and fine. And it's not because of the population of the school either. It's not because of how many students there are. This school's nuts. It's just yelling, screaming as loud as possible anytime they could. I realized a couple things, and that's what I wanted to talk about. If you've watched anything that I've talked, whatever, never mind. I've mentioned this several times before, that I am not built for kids. For elementary school, for middle school, we're talking about a teaching context. Not for me. I've known that I wanted to teach high school for years and years and years, and every time that I sub not in a high school, it reaffirms that 100%, 200%, whatever. I already knew that, and I just going into it saying that. Part of it is just I do not have the skills, the classroom management skills necessary to deal with children in a mob mentality. I don't have the skills to manage that situation. My skills usually appeal to logic and reasoning, which high school kids are starting to obtain. And it's why I like working with them, because we can have discussions and conversations and learn a lot from each other, and I don't like babysitting. So the mom mentality thing, that was something that I realized today, that it was like, this is kids in a mob mentality. It's the same thing as adults in a mob mentality. They think they're invincible, and they think that the rules don't apply to them, and they think there's no consequences for their actions. Like I said, I'm sure other people, 100%, I know other people would have been able to handle this situation much better than I was. Like, I know that for sure, but it's still ridiculous. Like, it's, other than lunch and recess before and after school, all those times where kids are just screaming at the top of their lungs, yelling in groups, running around the halls, other than those times, which, having my door closed and the lights off and the door locked, like, I could still hear so much, and it was so insane that I barely got any respite. Like, there was just, like, no peace at all. Like, it calmed down when they weren't in the room, but it was just, anyway, in the room, every class, loud, so unruly, so unwilling as a whole. Like, the exceptions to the rule were those that were quiet and doing their work. And they were rare exceptions. And it didn't matter how much that I reminded them, hey, this is due, you've only got this much time left, hey, everybody, we need to quiet down, blah, 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 blah. Maybe 60 seconds tops, they would listen, and then it would just be back to pandemonium. And I am not the type of sub or whatever that, like, I raise my voice in a teaching voice to get their attention. I'm not yelling at kids, I'm not throwing chairs, I'm not, like, you know, I'm not going to extremes to be aggressive whatsoever. I just don't do that. On the opposite end, I don't do kiddie things like turn the lights on and off and whatever else. And, like, I just don't do that either. Maybe that's what it calls for, and I just can't bring myself to do the stuff that's meant for, like, grade 2s with a grade 6 class. It's grade 6s all day. I just, man, like, I feel like I'm rambling almost about nothing. I just can't. I just couldn't deal with it. And like I said, I knew yesterday, halfway through the day, I wouldn't be able to do it. And, like, getting through it, like, the sacrifice of my mental health today, I almost want to say was not worth the couple $100 between the 2 days that I was paid. I need to pay rent, so I guess it was worth it. I didn't really have a choice. I was in the middle of the day yesterday, though. I was looking on the workboard for Lethbridge and Palliser, being like, yo, maybe there's another job tomorrow. I can cancel the Wednesday that the Tuesday I'm already booked and just work somewhere else, because I just can't do it. Yeah, I would rather be doing so many other things that I don't want to do, like physical labor in freezing temperatures, in unsafe work environments. I would much rather do that, absolutely, than deal with that again. It was such chaos, uncontrollable chaos. The mob mentality thing, I just can't. Like, when I see it in movies, when there's riots or, like, you know, dystopian things, or people get the pitchforks out, like that type of thing, that type of mob mentality that's depicted, it scares me. Like, it's a scary thing to be a somewhat rational being that is witnessing a mob mentality, right? It scares the crap out of me because I know how real that situation is. It's not because, like, I know that that's the reality, that's human nature, and I can't deal with human nature. And in kids, the mob mentality, like I said, they're not being violent, but they're not, they just won't listen. Like I said, it's like the rules don't apply, there's no consequences, they're invincible, because all of them, or 80% of them, or whatever, a vast majority of them are on the same plane, so all of a sudden, they can just turn into animals. And it's just nuts. Like, that's the thing. I think that is such a big part of most human nature, and I'm excluding myself from that. Everyone is subject to some type of human, like, we're all different humans, and there's some core things that happen to be in a majority of people, and this is one of those things that I can't attribute to myself. I just really can't. This mob mentality, even when things get crazy, when things get nuts, when the world is gonna fall apart, I just don't know if I could join the ranks and do things, you know? I mean, there's things that you're willing to do for your survival that you'll never know until you're in that situation, but man, alive, I don't think I've ever used that expression, and this is subbing. This is what subbing is sometimes. I need to... Can you think of a positive coping mechanism that is immediate? A positive coping mechanism that provides immediate relief. Because either I am so far gone right now that I am blind to the fact that there are some, or there's just not. And that's just the funny little way the world works. Positive coping mechanism, immediate relief. This is horse poop. And I don't mean the weather. I mean the city. Man, it is not that cold. It's only like -10. It's not going to get much colder tonight either, like from what I saw anyway in the forecast. But Lethbridge, man, when it snows for like 2 days straight usually, and the city does not respond very quickly at all, especially in residential areas. It's trash. I've got to walk like a block and a half just to get to my car right now, because there's nowhere I can possibly park. There's nowhere I can possibly park without getting stuck. Like, I live in Canada and I should have a 4-wheel drive vehicle just for winter. I've never needed one before, like in Saskatchewan. Well, that's not true. I had a van once that was rear-wheel drive. Most of my vehicles have been rear-wheel drive, like almost all of them ever, and that helps. And the vehicle I have now is low to the ground, front-wheel drive, with almost no no power at all. It's like a 2.0 engine. It's like nothing. So that doesn't help. Then again, when I bought it, I didn't know that winters were going to be like this here, where the city doesn't actually clean the streets. Yeah, this city makes me not like winter, because I like to be able to, get to work in the morning and have my vehicle close to my house. This is just ridiculous, and I hate it. I've been biting my nails for as long as I can remember. I don't want to say it's necessarily out of nervousness, it's just the fact that that's how I cut my nails, is by biting my nails, my fingernails. I've tried before to not do that and just to cut my nails with clippers and whatever, and I'm doing that more consistently now than I've ever done, and it's kind of cool. But also, my fingertips just burn. They just feel like they're burning. They feel like they're on fire a little bit. And it's like, oh, I guess you're cutting them too short. I'm like, I don't really think they're that short, but I don't think my fingers are ever used to them being that short, even though they're not really that short. It's really annoying. Chewing them off is much more fun. I don't even want to say it's faster, but it doesn't hurt the same way. It just, if you happen to catch it the right way and it cuts too much off when you're anyway. Talking about it now kind of sounds gross, but I've just been doing it forever, and I didn't really think it was that big a deal. And I know some people are really grossed out by it. I'm like, why are you grossed out by it? It's my fingernail. It's not some weird part of I don't know. I normalized it from an early age, I guess. Anyway, I'm trying not to, and my fingertips feel like they're on fire. Same thing with my toenails too, though, right now. And I've always clipped those, always. I couldn't reach my foot to my mouth if I tried, and I feel like for some reason that's different, and that's a little more gross because it's feet stuff. I don't think feet are gross or anything. I just think my feet in my own mouth would be gross. Anyway, I guess we'll leave that there. A quick update on me and the vlogs and stuff. Stuff I've said before, I'm sure that I have, but I feel I need to say it again now anyway, or say it in a different way. So this is just the outro to the vlog, but the vlog is so short this week, at least from what I remember. My memory tells me that I filmed 2 things ever, and that was it. It feels weird to say that I'm living family life right now, because it still doesn't feel like it's my family, if that makes sense yet. This integration is very, 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 very new for me. I think will take some time for everyone to really feel like it's a thing that I fit in 100%. I don't expect it to I expect it to take time. That's what I expect. Yeah, for everyone, including me. But that's why it feels weird to be I'm living family life. I'm entering a family that already existed. So I definitely am not home half as much as I used to be. Sometimes I'm not home, 4-5 days a week at all. And so I just don't have the space, time to vlog as much. The weather is another reason, because I'm not getting out as much, but because of family life type stuff, I'm not on my own just going here, there, and everywhere as much as I used to, so I'm not having as many experiences that I can document. I can talk about things, and so that's why the vlogs lately have been way less action of any nature and way more talking about stuff and reflecting on stuff. But then again, sometimes I want to reflect on things right in the moment, and I feel like I can't, or like it's very hard for me to do so. So, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I do, whatever. Anyway, I just remembered like some of the reflection stuff on the way to Calgary that I forgot about, so I hope I have that footage and I uploaded it and it's where it should be on my computer. But that's the thing, I'm not on my computer every day like I used to be. It takes time in between things now, and I don't remember what I filmed and if I, transferred it or not and whatever. And I don't know. It's just changing. It's just changing. That's the way it is. I definitely, weather is a part of it, but also just adjusting to this new way of living is a part of it. And I feel like in some ways, if I was living with my partner, things would be much easier, and I feel like I'd have more free time because I would be at home, like rather than having to travel to it's like having two different homes right now in a way. I mean, I really only feel like I have one home, but I spend sometimes more hours in a week at this other place than I do at my own home sometimes. Yeah, so it definitely just feels like I've got two different places where I spend a lot of time, but a lot of my stuff is at one place, and at the other place I don't have a lot of my stuff or access to my stuff. And because it feels like I'm a guest or I'm visiting, it's not like I have free time when I'm there as much. I don't know how to explain this whole thing. It just like, if we were all together in one place, I feel like I would have more free time and I would be out more. Because now when I'm gone from my house, I'm going there. Whereas if that was where I was already at and my house was that place, leaving the house, I'd be going somewhere else. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, whatever. I'll leave it up to me to take a short thing and make it longer and just being like, yeah, I'm spending my time differently now. I've mentioned that. I have different priorities than I did before. Priorities than I did before. Like, enunciating should be one of those priorities, especially if I'm going to be talking to people. I know this will continue to change. So there's been times where I've recently thought like, man, I can't keep up with things the way that I used to be doing. Should I still be doing it? I still want to be vlogging. I still want to be having these different things. I need to have a better balance because I'm not living there. So I feel like until I do, maybe I shouldn't be spending as much time there. And I need more alone time. I'm in the studio getting stuff done. I haven't been biking. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and until I can integrate the rest of my life into the vlogs at some point, if that's a possibility, then yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff with kids and homework and conversations and learning about how I can balance this life and learning how to not deal as in a negative way, learning how to exist with children in my life. Like, that's a new concept to me still. So just like, there's just a lot of learning on my end, a lot of experiences, things I have to understand, conversations that have to happen. Anyway, I feel like I'm boring myself right now. It's just like, it's not boring to me in the act, I'm just talking about it. Whatever. I'm sure I could actually talk way more about it, but I've been rambling or whatever. The only other thing that I have this week for the vlog, or for the channel, is a conversation about secrets and stories and sharing privacy and things like that. So that's the only other video this week. I really want to get back to finishing off. I don't know how many months it's been taking me, 6, 7, 8 months to do this like top 10 albums that changed my life review thing. I really want to get back to doing more reviews, to doing some more story time. I have a ton of things I could review that are just ways to get to know me better. So anyway, this is just what the vlog is right now. Way less action, way more talking head. I hope to kind of get out and about and do some more stuff, but I mean, either way, this is what my life is right now. So there it is. See you on another time.